Hello and welcome everyone to my brain, my house. This is Physiology Capsules number 15, Self Physiology number 8. Before I start this video, please give like to this video and subscribe for this channel if you didn't subscribe. Okay, previous video we talked about the membrane transport mechanism, which are passive transport, active transport, passive no energy. We discussed the types: simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, filtration, osmosis. Previous video we talked about the active vesicular transport, which are endocytosis and exocytosis. This video will talk about the active carrier transport, which are primary active transport and secondary active transport. Starting with the active, generally active carrier transport is the movement of molecules across a membrane from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration against the concentration gradient, so it needs energy ATP. It is a carrier-mediated transport, so it shows the stereospecificity, saturation, and competition like the simple facilitated transport. Okay, we have two types. We have primary active transport and secondary active transport. Starting with primary active transport. Primary active transport means, from its meaning or from its definition, direct transport using the energy directly, unlike the secondary active transport. We have several examples, starting with the sodium potassium Atpase pump, which is the most popular active transport, primary active transport. Location found in all cell membrane and works to pumping 3 sodium out of the cell and 2 potassium inside the cell. Like this picture means the potassium inside the cell is high while the sodium is low. Another example, we have the calcium Atpase pump. It present in two locations. Location number 1, location number 1 presented in the sacroplasmic reticulum here, which is endoplasmic reticulum, a specific type found in the muscle cell, and it works like pumping the calcium from intracellular to the endoplasmic reticulum. The other type is found in the cell membrane, this one, and it's pumping the calcium outside the cell extracellular fluid, which means totally we have low calcium in the cell. We will discuss the detail about this information in the future when we talk about the muscle physiology. The third example is hydrogen potassium Atpase, aka as known as proton pump. Location present in gastric parietal cells and renal alpha intercalated cells of the renal collecting duct. How to work in the stomach: it pumps hydrogen from the intracellular fluid of the parietal cell into the lumen of the stomach. Moving on to the secondary active transport, and known as a coupled transport, which means there are two or more molecules to be transported. Okay, it's not like the primary active transport. It doesn't use the ATP energy directly. It depends on the sodium potassium Atpase pump. This is a very important topic. So let us see this information. When sodium potassium Atpase occurs, it utilizes an energy ATP, leading to sodium concentration of the cell become high. This will create and maintain sodium gradient, leading the sodium to enter the cell following its concentration gradient, taking with them another solute which we refer as the coupled secondary active transport. This is the cell membrane. If we say this is the sodium potassium ATPase pump, it will pump the sodium out of cell, so leading the sodium to be high in the outside of the cell. This sodium will enter the cell again following its concentration gradient. So entering the sodium inside the cell will coupled and take with them another solute, either with their direction, so it's called symport, or this is ATPase pumping the sodium and sodium intake, or opposite direction called counter or exchange. So again, if we said that the coupled secondary transport mechanism depends on sodium gradient that depends on sodium potassium ATPase pump. There are two types. We have, according to the direction of movement of the uphill solutes, means moving against its concentration gradient that coupled with the sodium. We have the counterpart or co-transport, moves with the same direction with the sodium, and we have the counter transport, moving against an opposite direction of the sodium. If you see, these are the two types. Okay. First of all, we have the co-transport. The co-transport, or called symport, transport in the same direction. Which one? The sodium and the coupled solutes. This is the sodium. If you see this is the sodium. The coupled solutes, example, sodium glucose transport, like SGLT. This glucose will go with the sodium in the same direction, called co-transport. Okay. The second type is called the counter transport. Again, sodium potassium ATPase pump will pump the sodium out of the cell, which means leading the increase in sodium concentration. This will lead the sodium to enter the cell following its concentration gradient. And there is a counter transport antiport exchange of the other solutes, like calcium will go out, exchange, or hydrogen exchange will go out. This is the calcium or the hydrogen. This is the sodium enter the cell. I hope this video is very helpful and very meaningful to your study. If you have any question, please leave comment below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your colleagues to their understanding, and see you for the next video.